Hello everyone, from me, Noel Cronin. Once again, I'm very pleased to be sharing with you just a small personal selection from all the great things coming up on your favourite channel. Prepare to welcome to your screens Boris Karloff and Martin Clunes, and to say a big hello to Top Copper PC49. Diana Dors is a firm favourite with Talking Pictures TV viewers. She was a cinema legend, often billed as Britain's answer to Marilyn Monroe. Yield to the Night, made in 1956, contains Diana's greatest screen performance. Here she plays a young woman looking back on her life as she lives out her last days in the condemned cell before her execution for murder. The story bears an uncanny resemblance to that of Ruth Ellis, the last woman to hang in Britain. Yield to the Night is an unmissable film starring Diana Dors at her very best. For something much lighter, there's 1999's Hunting Venus. This comedy stars our good friend Martin Clunes alongside Neil Morrissey and Jane Horrocks. Martin plays a former 80s new romantic pop star forced against his will to reunite with his band. Look out for cameos from genuine 80s music legends, including Tony Hadley, Simon Le Bon and Jools Holland, who also wrote a song for the film. When you think of Hammer Films, I'm sure the word horror comes immediately to mind. But for many years before the studio became a horror powerhouse, Hammer produced films in all kinds of genres. In 1949, the studio made The Adventures of PC-49, a ripping crime yarn using characters from a very popular radio series. It stars Hugh Latimer and John Penrose. Our hero goes undercover to infiltrate a gang of thieves. It's a real boy's own stuff. Will PC-49 bring the thieves to justice? What do you think? Also from Hammer stable is a thriller, A Stranger Came Home from 1954. It stars Hollywood legend Paulette Goddard alongside William Sylvester and Patrick Holt. 4 friends go fishing, only 3 come back. Years later, the 4th man returns. Where has he been and why is he returning now? A Stranger Came Home has a touch of Hitchcock about it, as one of the men has to prove himself innocent of murder. How does the glorious Miss Goddard fit into all of this? You'll just have to watch to find out. Now that we've opened the door of horror, let's just walk right through in the company of one of the genre's greats. Boris Karloff, the man behind The Monster, gives us a fascinating insight into horror's first great icon. He lent his distinctive voice and often gentle air of menace to many horror villains after that. But there was so much more to the man, as this documentary shows. Look out for contributions from the late Roger Corman, Peter Bogdanovich and John Landis, and many others. Something very different now from a short from the Look at Life series, Cover Story. With e-readers so popular these days, it's easy to forget how important paperbacks were in making books affordable for all. This short documentary focuses on publishing and the bookbinder's skill, something of a lost art these days, sadly. Time now to hear from one of our viewers. Tim Schmidt clearly remembers the days when not everybody had a colour telly. Dear Noel, one of my earliest TV memories growing up in the late 1960s was the short films that the BBC showed on almost a daily basis to encourage people to buy colour television sets. These were so-called trade test films, and the idea was you would pass a TV shop, remember those, to see colour films being transmitted in the window and be tempted to buy one. I believe the films were also used by engineers to tune the colour sets when installing one in someone's home. The 2 films I remember most were The Homemade Car, which had a distinctive soundtrack by Ron Grainer, and Disapino, in which a young girl observes the comings and goings of a variety of passers-by at a remote petrol station in Italy. I think the fact they were broadcast so often made them so memorable to me. Do you remember these films? There are several others in the series. Kind regards, Tim Schmidt. I remember most of the ones, How to Treat Your Set, and the car that went past and broke up your picture because it didn't have a suppressor on and things like that. I believe most of, if not all of the trade test films are owned by BP, so we live in hope we might be able to license them from them. Thanks, Tim, for that lovely reminder. Please do keep the letters and emails coming. I do read them and love hearing from you. There's more mystery and intrigue coming soon in Then There Were None. This classic Agatha Christie adaptation stars Walter Houston, Barry Fitzgerald, Lewis Hayward and June Duprez. 10 strangers are invited to an isolated island where they are all accused of murder, and then one by one they start to die. And Then There Were None was directed by French great René Clair. He could have made the film quite gory, but instead he ramps up the tension with just a hint of menace and violence. And this 1945 version hasn't been seen on television for a very long time. Finally returned to the Hammer Films for another early offering. River Patrol stars John Blythe and Lorna Dean. They're undercover police officers trying to smash a gang of smugglers. There are some great scenes of the River Thames too. You'll recognise John Blythe from the many films from the 40s and 50s and 60s, including A Boy, a Girl and a Bike. He also appeared in a number of TV series, including Crown Court and Dixon of Dock Green. Well, that's all from me this time, but as you know, we're always finding new and exciting films and shows for you. So I'll be back soon with some more announcements and more top picks. If you want to know more about what's happening at Talking Pictures TV, why not subscribe to our weekly newsletter, which drops into your mailbox every Sunday. If you'd like to write to me, you can get in touch via email at noel@talkingpicturestv.co.uk. If you prefer to put pen to paper, the address to write to is Talking Pictures TV, P.O. Box 592, Kings Langley, Hertfordshire, WD4 4DB. Until then, keep watching and I'll see you soon.